morning, viewers. We are fortunate enough to have Neeraj Kumar, Managing Director India at Suntory Global Spirits with us. Neeraj is leading the business since 2018 in India. Neeraj is an inclusive business leader with experience spanning over 3 decades in building brands, commercial excellence, business transformation, and driving sustainable business acceleration, emboldened by an inclusive culture of high performance. Neeraj is steering the sustainable growth agenda, overseeing portfolio expansion, premiumization of brands, culture building, and sustained market performance. He has been recognized as Business Leader of the Year in 2021 and 2023 by the industry. Welcome, Neeraj, to Let's Talk on Spirits TV. It's our pleasure to have you with us. I know it has been a long time. I have been requesting you. So, and congratulations on being inducted as Keepers of Quay.
Thank you very
It's
much.
a
Thank you.
great honor.
Yeah.
And please tell me, beyond the personal recognition, this is a kind of a milestone. Uh, how do you see this recognition as important thing in terms of India's importance in global Scotch whisky market?
Well, thank you, Shalini. It is such a great feeling to be able to talk to a fellow keeper. So, congratulations to you too for your
Then
previous
thank
accomplishment on this. As you would have experienced, the Keepers of the Quake truly is a deep honor for anybody who's inducted into the society. But I think the story just begins from there because you are then entrusted with the responsibility to continue the good work of expanding Scotch whisky around the world in whatever manner, in whichever function you are. But it is truly special for Indian professional custodian of brands in India or people who are involved in India like yourselves to be able to get inducted into the society because it shows the importance of Asia and more so particularly India in the global expansion and the love for Scotch whisky. Uh, we are blessed to have a multifaceted portfolio of whiskies, Suntory. Clearly, there's been great legacy brands like Teachers, our single malt brands like Lefroy, the Ardmore, Bowmore, and therefore that work continues to be growing strong. Uh, it just shows the consumer dividend of India, the importance of Scotch whisky for the region, the role we can play to shape the narrative and the global expansion in the future. And therefore, no better time than now to be able to both get into the society, work to expand as we do, and join August alumni as yourselves.
Thanks. So, from your perspective, what has fundamentally changed in consumer perception of whiskey over the last decade, and mainly in India?
Yeah.
And what are the most significant shifts in how consumers discover, evaluate, and engage with whiskey today?
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference. Whiskey and the love for Scotch whiskey, particularly over the last, I guess, almost multiple decades, was about quality, accessibility, familiarity. The label meant a lot. Age on the label meant a lot. And therefore, when some of the strong Scotch whisky brands like Teachers came into the country way back in 1994, it was about aspiration. It was about great quality liquid, going well with Indian food taste, going well in Indian weddings to show pride of serving some good whiskey. That was the past. Over the last 10 years or more so after COVID, I would think, the need for consumers and younger legal drinking consumers who are wanting to experiment, who are wanting to travel and find different authentic experiences. Going to Lefroy and finding their own 1 square foot of land, which is a lease they get if you buy, and those kind of programs have meant that whiskey and Scotch whiskey particularly is no longer just about the label. The liquid and the quality of the liquid and the craft of making some special whiskeys matter. Pricing and premiumization and upgrade of consumers is an important aspect, and therefore they are willing to try. They are getting to see at the global retail store, the global travel retail stores, whether in India, in Dubai, or in Southeast Asia markets, and they come back and ask for those whiskeys. So home consumption, pride in our own bars at home, going out to the on-trade and some of the beautiful bars we have seen after in the last 10 years, all that has become more of an experience of authenticity and an experience of craftsmanship, which a good Scotch whiskey like Teacher's, Lefroy, Bowmore can get consumers to experience.
So, do you think that chefs have played a very important role in terms of promoting these whiskies with Indian cuisine? And young consumer lately, I think, are enjoying this food with whichever whiskey they are drinking.
I think purely from a consumer behavior perspective, it goes back to occasions. Where are we seeing the most growth? We are seeing growth both in the metros and in small towns, but at a channel level, events, weddings, those are seeing exceptionally strong growth in terms of subsegments. Here, food obviously is important. I think the Indian food particularly lends itself very well to have a dram of high quality Scotch whiskey, but the occasion matters. Some occasions are high energy. You're going out with friends and you're going out to a bar. Maybe you would like to try a highball or a refreshment way to drink whiskey. But then there are post dinner occasions or there are home occasions where it's a nice company and a great chatter. There you would like probably a single malt and a savoring occasion, low energy but more conversation like. Weddings, whether it is Sangeet or whether it is the big wedding, the big fat Indian weddings in Rajasthan or anywhere else, it's a combination. So certainly I would give a lot of credit to the choices our chefs are doing to pair great food with great whiskey. But ultimately it comes down to occasions. And I think talking from Suntory portfolio, whether it's a highball of Jim Beam or Toki, whether it is a nice savoring dram of Teachers or Lefroy, or indeed it is a fast-paced music platform where Jim Beam is seen. I mean, there are enough and more options for consumers to be able to enjoy
Jim is
this
creating
cuisine.
buzz in the market. So, India remains one of the largest whiskey markets globally. Do you believe India is now transitioning from a volume driven to a value driven Scotch market? And how critical is India in global portfolio strategy,
Yeah,
especially Suntory
yeah,
strategy, and can it begin to influence global innovation or trends?
yeah. I'll start with the last question first. India for Suntory was a scale market, a market of importance for the future. But from that position, we've now become truly one of the most important strategic growth engines for Suntory globally. The shareholder, our exec team, all believe in the Indian consumer dividend. Our portfolio in India is now shaped well. There is a great foundation laid, whether it's our very, very high quality Japanese whiskies, some of the best Scotch whiskies from Scotland, um, bourbon from Kentucky with Jim Beam, Maker's Mark. We have, and of course, core to this whole ambition is a very successful launch of Oaksmith, which is our foray into Indian whiskey, but exceptional whiskey created by Shinji Fukuyo, our chief blender from Suntory, Japan, looking at what would be the best way for Indians to taste a new whiskey, which really consumers don't need one more. But this whiskey launched in 2020 time came from the behind and has started to capture share and consumer smiles and consumer delight across multiple markets. So all of these show the commitment of the business and our shareholder on India. It is not just about being an important growth driver, but it is now shaping narrative. And I think truly from a category perspective, from our consumption, India will be the most important market. We will add close to 100 million legal drinking age consumers until 2030. Can you imagine? 100 million is almost like five different countries being added. And those consumers coming in will want high quality experiences, great quality and great tasting whiskeys. Whiskey is still very, very aspirational for a lot of consumers. And I think we are well placed. So, therefore, as a country, extremely critical for Suntory. Whiskey, the love of the nation, therefore, we are playing to that and we will continue to hold a strong pipeline of innovation. Consumption experiences, drink style, drink serves which matter, we will continue to evolve, make it relevant to Indian consumers. And with brands like Yamazaki Hibiki right on the top, Lefroy, going to much loved teachers in Jim Beam, going to Oaksmith, which is creating its own splash. I think we have a very strong portfolio, and I'm so delighted that I'm able to be partnering the growth of these brands.
No doubt that you have an amazing portfolio. So, under your leadership, Suntory Global Spirits has accelerated the whiskey category, especially in India. And not only whiskey, it has been gin or vodka, every category. What are the core demand drivers behind this shift, and how sustainable is this premiumization trend in India? Is it?
Yeah, I think very, very sustainable, I would imagine. At a macro level, I think we are matching our portfolio to choices consumers are making. Um, when you look at India, our median age,
So, you want to say it's a sort of consumer driven?
absolutely consumer driven. In fact, in Suntory, we have a very interesting term, a Japanese term called Gemba. And Gemba, at a very simplistic level, means go and be there where the action is, where value is created. So, whether it is talking to our bartenders, talking to our retail partners, talking to our on trade owners, talking to wait staff, observe how they are serving our whiskies, how consumers are drinking our whiskies. Is it about two kind of cubes of ice? Is it about a full glass of ice, a mountain of ice? Is it about a shot glass or a tall glass? Is it a highball or is it a savoring occasion? Is it a tumbler? Are they mixing with water, soda? So these are insights which we observe, and I encourage our teams to be out there in Gemba and observe, because this then starts to shape your serve strategy. I mean, Suntory has great craftsmanship, right from creating high quality liquid, but we also have a term called monozukuri. And monozukuri, at the very fundamental level, is about high quality craftsmanship. And this doesn't only stop at the distillery. The distillery creates these liquids, but how you bring it to life in a glass in front of a consumer, in their home, in a bar, in the retail, in the bottle, all of those are parts of quality aspects which we bring in. We have another term which is truly the equivalent of storytelling, which is called monogatari. And monogatari is where these great liquids come to life in front of consumers with their own stories. We would like Toki to be seen as the coolest whiskey. Therefore, the One Night in Tokyo becomes a very relevant platform. Teachers is wanting to be really a brand which carries the legacy, and our platform there is To the Brim, and that is on the legacy of the Teachers Awards and how do you get achievement up and scale up. And therefore, that platform is a storytelling platform for teachers. Yamazaki Hibiki, this foresees the 24 facets of the bottle. You mentioned other categories like gin. Roku. Roku in Japanese is really the digit 6. So 6 different ingredients go to make Roku. And the Roku bottle is 6 faces. And each face represents whether it's yuzu fruit or sakura or shensho pepper. So right from liquid going into bottle shape, bottle design, the concept, the proposal, and then getting out in front of consumers to say, well, a nice chilled tall glass of Roku and maybe tonic or soda with 6 strands of ginger, which will go well. So that is the craftsmanship which we are all striving to bring together. So our great distillers and founders do the job at the distillery and their magic of blending. But our job as commercial and marketing people is to get that experience live in front of consumers. So coming back to your question, yes, India is very, very important. The shaping of the Indian consumer dividend is here to stay. We will for sure guide global trends, I think over time we will become a very empowered group of consumers, and therefore all our effort as Suntory and our brands need to be relevant to this new young India. And this young India is premiumizing, but they're not starting from a far distance. They're starting premium. They want a great experience. They want a great drink in a easy way. So I think our job will be to keep engaging with these consumers, learning from Gemba,
Every type of
and
consumers.
evolve and evolve. At the heart will always be the quality and craftsmanship which Suntory brings to the table. Oaksmith is a great example. Oaksmith was created with Shinji Fukio, our chief blender, visiting India multiple times. And I think you've met him and you've heard the
Yes.
story and in his own words. But he was trying to decide, okay, why will consumers in India want a new whiskey? There's so many great whiskeys we have. How do they drink it? Do they drink it eating a snack? Is it a spicy snack? Is it a mild snack? Is it before dinner, after dinner? Is it about refreshment or is it about celebration? Is it about drinking with soda or water? And these were his Gemba insights, which helped him develop that very nice fine blend, which is now very big, fast becoming one of the fastest growing whiskey. Last year, we were noted as the number one Indian whiskey in terms of fan following, in terms of consumption. We've crossed the 1 million milestone. We are targeting 2 million milestone. So I think we are getting there very well. So now this whiskey to me is really the epitome of what we can get to. Start with the insight, develop the master product and a great craftsmanship led product, get the right execution in the market, and then the consumers will decide.
So the company already had two variants of Okismet,
Yes,
Gold and
international.
International, and then you launched Okismet Nagumi.
Yes,
So what's the story behind it, and how is the response of consumers?
yes, that's right. I mean, you find here Oaksmith Nagomi, and Oaksmith Nagomi again was created by Shinji. In fact, you see his signature here. So that is his very specific signature, saying the quality of the brand he stands by. And Nagomi was created as an alternate to a more premium price range of whiskies, where consumers are wanting to go and find uptrades from Oaksmith Gold. Oaksmith International and Gold are already creating their own positions, but there is a choice, and we would like consumers to move into Nagomi. Nagomi is about symphony, is about balance. It's a beautifully balanced liquid which Shinji Fukio has created for India, very specific to India, only for India at the moment. At some point, we would love to see if other markets can be part of this expansion. But Oaksmith Nagomi will be our hero. Oaksmith Gold, of course, is the core way expression, and Oaksmith International is where consumers are coming into this segment from lower ends of the segment.
To hook them.
Yes. Ultimately, we would like from Nagomi consumers to move into single malts or into more premium aged Scotch whiskies like Teachers. But we've launched a Nagomi now in 3 markets, and we will expand further. It's available in Maharashtra, in Goa, and in West Bengal. But we'll
So
have more
it's not
markets this
available
year.
yet in.
Not yet in North, but will be coming soon to Haryana.
We'll see soon.
Yes.
So Teachers once held a very dominant position in India, and then it lost its momentum over time for any reason. What structural or strategic um, interventions are being implemented to restore its relevance and competitiveness in today's market?
Yeah. Well, Teachers is a much loved brand in India. I would probably not believe it's losing its relevance. I think it's about becoming relevant and more progressive as new consumers come in. I would repeat, I think the love for whiskey in Indian consumers, young and old, legal drinking age, and current consumers, all have great love for whiskey. Teachers was one of the first brands to be launched and bottled in India. And I think from there, we've seen the brand come to great heights. We are in the realm of 1 million cases of Teachers, which is not a mean feat over, I mean, the brand, if I recall, was launched in 94. So almost 32 years now since the brand came with the full bottling. Do you know the story about Teachers 50? So that is
Please.
Teachers 50. But before Teachers 50, let me also say to your question, how are we reviving and
Right,
making
yeah.
this brand relevant? So you see a very different packaging of
Yes,
teachers,
that's what
and
it's.
we've launched this over the course of the last 6 months, and most markets are now complete with the changeover and the refresh of the
Okay.
teacher's bottle. And Teachers Reserve really is a notch higher than Teachers Hull and Cream, which is our entry. But Teachers 50 again was launched for India in 1997. And why 50? Because it was the 50th year of India's independence.
Oh,
And Teachers 50 has 50 different malls, and Teachers 50 has 50% mall.
everything is
Yeah, so that was very. So I go back to the Monozukuri
well thought.
Monogatari, the storytelling, right
Yes,
from the product, the liquid, and then a meaningful story for the country. And
yes.
Teachers 50 is a much loved brand over the last, from 97 to now. Next year, in fact, it'll be 30 years of the brand. And therefore, we will be having celebrations of Teachers 50. But the broader point is, every brand needs to keep reinventing, and we are with this new packaging and the new identity of the brand going behind, both not alienating our current consumers but getting with the new cohort of consumers coming in with the right experiences, with the right actions in terms of innovation. And there's some very exciting innovations planned and coming your way. We will let the product talk about it when it's available, but very soon. And So therefore, you will see a fair degree of action and activation on teachers. I think the brand, especially with the India UK FTA, as that starts to take shape and impact different brands in India in terms of pricing, accessibility, teachers will play certainly a much more dominant role than what it has in the recent past. And I think all our teams are geared up to make the brand get that relevance back and be very progressive with the new packaging, which, by the way, has been very much liked by customers and consumers in India.
Well received in the market. So the complete portfolio, you have changed the packaging.
Packaging, that's right. So
Okay.
Teachers Hull and Cream, Teachers Reserve, Teachers 50, and then there'll be new launches more coming.
Suntory India's consistent recognition as a great place to work suggests strong internal alignment. So, what are the non negotiable cultural pillars that drive this consistency, and how do you institutionalize them at a scale? Because you have a
No,
big workforce.
that's a brilliant question. And I think as we started to set up the expansion of the business way back in around 2020, uh, one of the key non-negotiables was culture, which is inclusive, a culture which can be trusted, and a culture which drives high performance. We had to build capability. We had to drive strong actions to get belongingness of our teams, and which led to high engagement, or which continues to sustain high engagement. Um, my own personal philosophy is, if our team members are able to um, blend within that culture, because culture is not only for the leader or for the leadership, culture is for everybody to be part of and to drive. And culture and strategy, and ultimately the link in terms of engagement and performance, are all very intrinsic. So we've had an extremely capable and highly engaged team, and all of the work, some of the accolades, some of the results are just because of that team. And the teams come together highly engaged. The teams have high performance as a big part of their KPIs, but also in terms of the mindset. Winning together is important. Suntory also brings in the best of East and West cultures. From East, from Japan, there are different quality, craftsmanship related points, people related points, context, high context, low context, cultural. From our US business and Scotch business, we have a very high expectation of commercial acumen, business acumen, financial prudence, um, the growth of share as a part of everybody's ambition and objectives. So the East and West coming together, our own internal high performance culture, led by the team, but having some very key principles of how we would like that culture to be built. We have an internal clarion call: unleash your spirit. And when I say that, I mean everybody is willing and can come in terms of however they feel comfortable to work, and then unleash their spirit so that that capability is known and pronounced for their work within the company, but their work even impacting outside to customers, consumers, society in general. We've internalized envisioning kind of a view about growing for good. So growth is not only good for our brands and our people, growth is for society in general, growth is for nature, giving back to society is important parts of our culture. So a combination of all of these in the last 5 to 6 years has meant that our people are highly engaged, our people find great belonging to the business and to our brands, and ultimately internal engagement, great place to work certification 6 times in a row in the last 6 years, so every year, is a great testament to that trust, belongingness, and fundamentally what I call culturing together as an internal platform, so that consumers, our teams, are able to join, collaborate, partner, and ultimately impact the market where the action has to be. So unleash your spirit is really the one which binds all of this together in the company.
Right. You, you have one thing in Japanese. Yeah. Yeah.
Yatte minahare.
Is something related with
Yeah, yatte minahare is an invitation to everybody in the company to dream big and make it happen. Now, there are many ways you can internalize and understand this, but my favorite interpretation is failure is not to be seen as a deterrent to take an action. So, failure is an option, but fear is not.
No.
So, please be fearless to our team members and get out and act. And therefore, Yatte Minahare is a Suntory clarion call by the founders, where it was about dreaming big, going ahead, making some experiments. Even if you fail, it's okay first time. Learn fast, fail fast, and then make it scalable, sustainable.
Looking ahead, how do you see the Indian alcobev landscape evolving over the next, say, like 5 to 10 years? With potential FTAs lowering import duties, what tangible impact could this have on pricing, accessibility, and consumer choice in premium spirits?
As I said, Shalini, I think the Indian consumer is becoming a vital cog in the wheel to shape global trends. And the India UK FTA, the India US trade deal, the India EU FTA, and other such actions continue to make global brands very, very relevant for the Indian consumer. Continue to make our spirits and brands accessible to Indian consumers. And ultimately, the choice for that consumer is going to be quite immense. I also respect all of the Indian brands which are making efforts to premiumize so that there's a great choice of repertoire for all kinds of consumer cohorts. Now, when we look at India, I think there are two or three key things. India is a whiskey country. We continue to believe the growth of whiskey in this country will be high single digits, if not double digits, in the future, and our per capita consumption will increase. So, therefore, this is a very, very important market for any whiskey maker, and notably for Suntory, with so many of our whiskeys from around the world. Secondly, the consumer dividend in India, 27 years, 28 years is the median age. So for the next 10, 15, 20 years, you will find new consumers coming in. You will have a lot of migration of up trading happening. Thirdly, as consumers come in, they are willing to have value over volume. They are willing to go for high quality brands. They are willing to get high quality experiences. Authenticity, sustainability is the heart of what they're seeking. So therefore, it's the job for every brand to be relevant to that. So a combination of macroeconomic factors, a combination of demographic factors of the importance of India for any whiskey maker, and then the experience and the overall trend-setting nature of the Indian market for global consumption will mean that India will become the most important market in the future for whiskey makers. So Suntory is highly committed to India. I think we have a proud portfolio which allows any and every kind of consumers, right from Oxford International all the way to Hibiki, and to create their own choices and as they can afford. we would want to double click on a few states of importance, and we will continue to grow our brands in those states. Scale is important for us, and that's where we are driving our focus on. But underpinning all of this is that culture, is the Yateminahare spirit, which I mentioned. And culturing together towards a high performance outlook and output will be, the job for everybody in Suntory, as we call. Every Centurion is very proud to be playing that role.
If you had to define your success mantra in one line, what did it be?
Success mantra. um, I think culturing together. I mean, look at what you can bring to the table as an individual, as a leader, but invite everybody to participate in building culture together. There is nothing more successful than that culture driving high performance. So,
One international or domestic market that surprised you the most?
India, always. Every state, every year, there are good surprises to deal
It's
and good
kind of shock and
challenges.
surprise
Yeah.
both.
So I think India continues to be an extremely exciting market.
A defining leadership lesson you live by.
I think it's important for leaders to be empathetic. It is important for leaders to drive culture and enable the culture together with the team. But there are a few things which have stayed with me right from the beginning, which is sometimes satisfactory underperformance. I learned this from my first manager in PepsiCo. We get drained and dragged into satisfactory underperformance. We believe, yes, this is the best we can do. So coming back now to Yateminahari, that whole purpose of trying to dream big is the opposite. So I think that is where I think continues to be very exciting. Inspecting what you expect is important for leaders so that there is no surprise, and therefore bringing the teams together will be very, very good as an immediate enabler of no surprise, especially in our industry where there can be changes and changes are quite rapid. So it's
One
important.
last question, Neeraj.
Yeah.
The future of alcoholic beverages, craft, luxury, or experimental?
I think there will always be a role for craft, and craft by definition will be probably not scalable. So therefore, there is going to be always a role for craft. But I think ultimately trends over time anchor themselves into sustainable actions. So experimental, maybe not, but craft, yes, there is a role for it. And then ultimately, the core brands stay the test of time. Teachers 1830, Jim Beam 1895. I mean, these are brands over multiple centuries, and Yamazaki 1923. So I think that's the test of time, and that's the challenge to us as custodians to continue driving that for the next 100 years.
Thanks a lot, Neeraj, to spare some time to be with us today.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Shalini. And congratulations again also
Thank you.
for your induction in the
And
Keepers.
congratulations to you
Thank
too.
you. Thank you.